Good evening, everyone. My name is Utkarsh Mehta. I am right now situated in Madison, USA, and I am basically from India, from Gwalior. I did my schooling from ITM University, Gwalior, and I did my bachelor's in computer science. And then I worked for a company called Wipro. I was working there for more than 2 years, and I was working as a SAP consultant. And then, meanwhile, I planned to come to US, and that's where how my US journey started. And then fortunately I got a couple of admits from the universities of US, and I then chose Texas A&M due to multiple reasons. I'll share the reasons with you in a while. And yeah, so right now I'm working as a software engineer in an education industry, and things are fine as of now. And yeah, let's go ahead with the presentation. So I'll be walking through some of the frequently asked questions, and at the end of my questions, I mean, whenever I've done with my questions, you can ask me your question, and I'll answer them if they are not answered through this PPT. Yeah, let's go ahead. I hope you can see my screen. So when and how did you decide to study abroad? So my journey started a little, I mean, long back. I mean, my since my father already knew that. I mean, let's go a little more back. My uncle is here. My uncle, my real or in India we call Mamu. So my Mamu is already here in US. So he also went. He also took the same path as me. He also gave his GRE, got his scholarship, and that's how he came here. So same thing was taught to me, and I also took the same path, and I started my preparation after during my bachelor's, but I did not get a good score during my first GRE attempt. I got a score of 296, which was an okay score, but not a good one to get scholarships and get a good college. So I started my preparation during my third year of my engineering, but that didn't go quite well. And also, meanwhile, I was placed with Wipro. I was working with Wipro. I mean, I was about to start with Wipro, so I thought I should work for a couple of years, and maybe then I can try again. So I again gave my GRE while I was working with Wipro, and I got a score of 306. And yeah, I thought that's where I stand as of now, and I should not be wasting any more time, and I should go ahead. So yeah, I hope this answers my question. So when did I decide? I decided long back, but things didn't go quite well, so I had to postpone my plan a little bit. So yeah, I gave my GRE during my when I while I was working, and yeah. So how was my GRE and TOEFL preparation? GRE and my, I mean, when I started with my GRE on the very first attempt, it was quite rough, I would say. I mean, I had no idea how GRE goes, how is the exam pattern. So I think that is the reason I ended up with a little score with on my first attempt. I'm talking about only about GRE as of now. I'll talk about TOEFL in the second part in the next section. So for my GRE preparation was good. Not, I mean, it was okay on the very first. As I mentioned, I didn't know how to and where to start with. So I joined. I guess I joined a coaching institute in Berlin itself. But since I was already in my bachelor's, and I had a lot of things on my plate, so things were not going pretty well. So uh, I would say starting early gives you a head start, but getting to know about GRE will also give you, I mean, talking about my TOEFL preparation didn't take a long time for me as TOEFL is just an English exam. TOEFL or IELTS, I mean, both are one and the same thing. So TOEFL preparation didn't take a long time for me. It took maximum 20 days, and that's the maximum you should take for your TOEFL preparation if you are okay with your English. So I guess maximum 25 to 30 days uh, um, are good for TOEFL preparation. And but the question is, how was my TOEFL preparation? So I I think I was okay with my English. I'm not bragging here. I mean, I'm just telling what is the truth here. So I think I was okay with my English and my writing skills. So if you think you are okay with your writing skills, if you think you are uh, on a good range, I would say TOEFL preparation would not take a good amount. You should not take a good amount of time. It should be not more than 25 to 30 days. And it was that answering this question, it was okay for me. It was TOEFL was not very difficult for me. The only uh, tough part was GRE, since GRE is a computer adaptive test and you need to really go through each and every section. You need to go through each and every topics which can be asked in the exam. So GRE is something I would say a little difficult exam, not very difficult. It just requires a lot of practice, and you should be good with it. Moving on to the next question. I'm sorry. So, how did you research about universities? I mean, since I already mentioned, I have my uncle here in US, so he was the first point of contact for me to start with the list of to start for me. I mean, to start the I mean, I had to prepare a list for the of the universities. So my uncle was the first point, and he was helping me to prepare a list of the universities. So, but that didn't quite help me, since I mean, people are there to help you. There are consultants. There are multiple thousands of consultants out there in the market, but it's you who have to do the research. It's you who have to take the pain of going on each website of that particular university you want to, and figuring out that that university is good for you or not. So I would say you can start by randomly. I mean, well, that's what I did. I mean, my uncle was one. He was the point of contact for me, and other was I randomly went online. I typed universities for MS in computer science, and whatever, like if you are going for your big data or data analytics, whatever your prime focus is, you can just Google it and you will have a list of universities. That's how you should start with. I'm not telling that's how you should end with. Things will get eventually better, since it's not, and searching for universities is a painstaking task. I mean, you have to give a lot of time to shortlist universities. It's not a thing which can be done in a day or two. It takes months. I mean, it took months for me, and I'm sure if you do the same way, if you have to shortlist the universities, and if you are seriously applying for that for your masters, then you have to give it some time. This shortlisting of universities cannot be is a thing which cannot be done in a day or two. It might take months as well. For me, it took more than 2 months. So I think it should be same with most of the students. Moving on to the next question. So how are internships opportunities in Texas A&M? So uh, there are internship opportunities. Now this is a question. Now this is a thing which depends upon person to person. I mean, for me, I had I have more than 2 years of experience, and for me, getting an internship was not very difficult. I would say very frankly. I mean, I was here on. I mean, Monday, I guess 27th or 28th August was the first day when I started with the school. This was 2 years back. And by very next day, I had an internship. And the reason I would, I mean, the prime reason I would say was that I had a couple of years of experience. Now, this is not, I mean, it's not mandatory that you should have 2 years of experience to get an internship, but it helps. But I'm getting back to the question. I guess I diverted from the question. How are internship opportunities in Texas A&M? There are internship opportunities. I mean, people are getting, and I think people will be getting, because in a semester, maximum of the students end up getting a job. Max end up getting paid $1,200 a month. So I guess there are internship opportunities. If not internship opportunities, there are uh, other work opportunities on the campus in which you can easily meet your expenses, at least meet your monthly expenses, which is your food and accommodation. So yes, I think if you come to Texas A&M, you should be good with your, you should be easily be able to handle your monthly expenses. I think that's what the prime focus is. That's what a that's what a student wants. If I would be there in your place, and if I ask this question, how are internship opportunities, I think that's what I want to hear, that whether I'll be able to meet monthly expenses or not. So, and the answer is yes, you will be able to, as long as you are willing to put in a little effort. You should be good, and you should be able to meet your monthly expenses. Yeah. Moving on to next question. How many admits did you get? So I had I guess I missed the count. Let me give me a second. I had Texas A&M. I had San Jose. I had University of North Carolina, Charlotte. I had, yeah, I had, as far as I remember, I had three admits. One was from Texas A&M, from which I pursued my masters. Second was San Jose State University, San Jose, California, and the third one was University of North Carolina, Charlotte. So these three were the universities I got admit from. And also, this is all about US, but I also got admit from a couple of universities of Ireland, which is University of Limerick, and first was University of Limerick, and second one was no, National College of Ireland. So these were the two colleges I got admits from Ireland. So I guess we are pretty much done with. Okay, okay. There's one more question, I guess. How did I prepare for my visa interview? So I was working with a consultant, and I so he was the one who was helping me prepare. But I'm again repeating this. It's you who have to put in efforts. Consultant can give you questions, can give you answers, but I think it it's you who have to put in efforts. And how did I prepare? I usually went online. There are multiple groups on Facebook, like MS in US 2020, like 2020 is the next fall semester. You should be able to see if you type in MS in US 2020. There are multiple groups, and people post their visa interviews. They mm, they tell what the questions were they asked, and they mention what answers they gave. So, and I think those are pretty detailed for you. I'm sorry. And those are pretty detailed questions and answers for you. I think that should be the first point of start for you people. And then eventually, if you uh, are planning to go for the visa interview and you have your visa date with you, I guess you should you should be taking notes. You should be taking a pen and a paper and writing down what answers would you give if the same questions are asked to you by the interviewer. And if I but same questions, I mean, of course you'll be going through, let's assume you're going through that Facebook page and you find some questions, and the questions which are asked in the visa interview are common to most of them. Like for me, what questions I have were already asked before. The questions are not new. So I think I mean, what you should do is just have a list of all those questions, and by all those questions, I mean you'll be getting those questions from Facebook pages. Maybe you should Google it. You should have all the questions with you, and you should write your own answers. And your own answers mean you shouldn't make things up. Visa interviewers are doing their job since so many years. I Fooling them or telling a lie would not. I mean, it's not something you can go with. You have to be genuine. You have to answer them correctly, and you make sure whatever you write in your visa application form, make sure you say only those things. If you say things which are not there or which doesn't match your visa application form, things go wrong. And I've seen things going wrong and things go wrong that way. So answering this question, how did I prepare? I usually went online. I jotted down all the questions that were asked by the visa interviewer, and I usually prepared my answers. I mean, not prepared my answers. I did not make things up. I just wrote what actually the answer was, so that I don't mumble or fumble on the visa interview day. So that's what I did. Okay, so how are job opportunities after MS in computer science? I mean, it doesn't matter if it is MS in computer science or if it is MS in electrical science. If you are good in your field, there are number of opportunities for you. So, I mean, I don't think this is a question to be asked, but yeah, if asked that how are job opportunities, America is a growing economy as of now, and we all know the Silicon Valley is growing at the best, and yes, there are number of opportunities in after you complete your master's in computer science. So you should be good with that. It's and also as I mentioned before, it's not about computer science. It's about any field. If even if it is electrical science in place of computer science on the question, the opportunities are still the same. Moving on to the next question. I guess we are done with the question. So, if you have any other questions, you can let me know and I can answer them. Uh, Let me go to the question section page and I can see your questions. Yes, so I have first question. Are research papers mandatory? Uh, yes and no, because since I had a research paper, frankly, and I guess it helped me while I was interviewing for my internship on campus. So I guess yes, but it doesn't make a huge difference even if you don't have. Even if you have a strong profile, it doesn't make much difference. But it is always good to have research papers. I mean, it's not a big task to publish one. It depends. Swarganshu, it depends in which year are you at the moment. If you have time and if you can answer, if you can write a research paper, and if you can publish one, I guess that would be great since it has an impact. If not, make sure you have a good profile and you should be good with it. I hope it answers your question, and if not, just let me know. So next question I'm taking: how should we effectively prepare for visa interviews? For example, how should be our financial documents? So for visa interview, there are a couple of things. You get a form, you get a like a admission, like a acceptance letter from the college, and which has a which has a amount which you have to show while you are giving your visa interview. So one second, I'll come back to a question. One second. Yep. So should we okay? See, I would say, as I mentioned before, Moinuddin, as I mentioned, that you should be taking a note of all the questions. And by questions, I mean you should, if you have a consultant, perfect. He will be giving you the list of questions. If not, if you're going for your visa interview by yourself, what you should do is go to a Facebook page, and it is a very, I mean, Facebook is a social networking site. It is not a place where we can trust a visa interview, but I what I have felt, it's a place where you can find genuine people with genuine questions and answers. So what you do if you're starting with your visa preparation, go to Facebook, type in MS in US fall 2020 or fall 2019. You will see the actual visa interviews from those persons. They've already posted the question and the answers they gave, and they have also posted their rejections or acceptance. If they have acceptance from the US embassy, they have mentioned that. So I guess that should be the starting point, or how should you start preparing those things. And if you particularly talk about how should be your financial documents, I think, I mean, what it is like, you have a list of tuition fees you have to pay in 1 year. So you have to you have to show at least double the amount. For example, if you have $20,000 listed in your by financial document, I mean the acceptance letter from the university. If you have $20,000 listed, let's say 12 around 14 lakhs listed, you have to show at least 25 lakhs of amount, since you'll be going for 2 years. So, and that amount which is mentioned in your acceptance letter is just for 1 year. So you have to show at least double the amount to successfully go through, I mean, get through the interview. And it is also advisable to take a loan. Loan will not don't if you have, even if you have self sufficient with all the finances, it's perfectly okay to go with loan, since loan after taking loan, the bank has also endorsed you that this student is good to go ahead. We have checked his documents and he is a good student, because only then bank approve your loan. So it is also, loan is also gives surety to the US embassy that this student is a student which can pay off the loan, and he is a candidate which is actually going there for study and not to do anything funny or anything silly. So I would say you should be showing at least double the amount, and you should always be going for a loan from a bank, from a renowned bank. So I have a question from Sakshi. So the question is, can someone switch to masters in CS from other field for BTech? And if yes, what are the prerequisites? Yes, you can. You can do that. And what are the prerequisites? So my I had my friends which were not from computer science background, and they were from they did their BTech in electronics and communication, and when they came here, they were doing master in CS. So as of now, from Texas A&M, if I talk only about Texas A&M, there are no such prerequisites for getting admission. But after you are admitted, before you choose your computer science subject, you are made to take some prerequisite courses. But for admission, it is not required. But after you get the admit, there are some courses which you have to take, like data structures. I'm sure you might have heard about data structures. So they are made to take those questions, which is free of cost. They don't charge you anything for the first attempt. But if you flunk at the first attempt, then you have to pay. But for the first attempt, you don't. Then they don't charge you anything. So yes, there are some prerequisites answering your question, and but for getting admission, it is not required. Only after you come here, you start your masters. Only then they make you take those subjects, which I think there are not more than two or three subjects at max. I hope that answers your question, Sakshi. So, Karthik, I'm taking up your question next. How much does it cost for MS? So, Karthik, it depends in which area and which university are you going. If you are targeting for a very, like a, like top 30, top 50 universities from Ivy Leagues, they are pretty costly. I mean, they can cost you from ranging from 40 lakhs to at least 70 to 80 lakhs, but the returns are of the same amount, so you should not worry about the figures here. But if you talk about an okay university, not I mean, and the cost of that, I mean, for my college, the cost, the my per semester cost was around $11,000. So $11,000, if I convert it in rupees, it's around 7 lakhs. I'm sorry, it's around 7 lakhs per semester just for the tuition fees. So 7 multiplied by 4 is 28 lakhs. 28 lakhs just for the tuition fee plus 10 lakhs of living expenses. So 28 plus 10 is 38. So 38 is the maximum amount you can expect out of my college, out of Texas A&M. So the I hope that answers the question. So 38. I mean, the price can vary from place to place, from college to college, but for my college, it is 38 lakhs, and it can go anywhere from 38 lakhs to 55 lakhs in Texas area, be it any college. So 50 lakhs should 50 lakhs should be the 55 lakhs should be the maximum amount. But also there are multiple internship opportunities, multiple on-campus job opportunities, so you can always meet your living expenses. So you shouldn't worry about the cost if you already have plans to go to US. Uh, you only thing you should worry about your grades. So grades and getting a job after your masters is important. So even if you pay a little more during your masters, that's completely okay. And if you get a job after that, which you will be targeting for, I think those extra amount will be covered by that. So I'm taking the next question by Yash. I want to know what what's the minimum sum that one has to pay if someone wants to pursue MS from USA if one didn't get any kind of scholarship. So I guess I already answered this question in Karthik's question, in the previous question. So it depends in which area you're going and in which college you're going. More college, the fees of the college are pretty much same in the whole country. But since if it is an Ivy League, the fees is high. But if it is not an Ivy League, the fees is almost same for almost all the colleges. But the only thing which differs is the living cost. So if you're going somewhere in New York area, that will be pretty expensive for you. If you're going somewhere in Texas area like Dallas, Houston, or any other place, it will be cheap for you. But answering your question, if anyone did not get any scholarship, so it will be around 35 to 55, I would say. The range would be at around 35 to 55. So I guess Yash had the same question again. Let me scroll up and see if I have any other questions. So, Swarganshu has a question. What do you mean by good profile? So, Swarganshu, good profile is anything which, see, there's no one answer for this question. So, good profile is, I would say, a decent profile is a 305 plus GRE score, a 90 plus TOEFL score, and if I talk about numbers, and bachelor's score more than 75 or 7.5 CGPA. That's a decent score. That is still not the best score, but a decent score to apply. I mean, people still apply if they don't meet that score. But yeah, that is a okay score for me personally. So another question by Yash. One second. Yeah. So I have a question by Setu Pavan. Is it suggestible to study masters in USA after doing bachelor's from the UK? I mean, that's personal opinion. I mean, it doesn't matter if you choose any university. Let me go through your question once again. I mean, no, I don't think so. That would make any difference. I mean, even if you choose any other country, it doesn't matter whether you have done your bachelor's from UK and you are doing your master's from USA. It always, adds up to your profile since you are having multiple foreign degrees, but I don't think it would make a huge difference. I mean, of course, UK and US are, I would say, the best countries to have foreign degrees from. So if you are planning to do that, it will be really good on your profile, but I don't think that will impact a lot as far as I know. I mean, personally, but yeah, if you're planning to do that, I don't think it will affect anything in a bad way. But in fact, it will boost your profile only. So I think if you're planning to do that, you can totally go ahead with it. So Yash, again, I'm coming to your question. What do you think? Your question is, what do you think? Should one take hostel within the campus or away from campus? So I mean, on-campus housing is costly. It's expensive. I mean, by mean I expensive is it's more than it's more than double the amount of what you pay outside the campus. So it's suggested to stay outside, not very far from the campus, but around the campus. But on housing campus is pretty costly. I mean, it's not even double. It's more than double the amount of what you pay. So again, a question by Yash. Okay, let's take Solvanshu's question. Do you have any idea about the scope in civil engineering after masters? Yes, yes. I mean, I have my friend who did his masters in construction management from Northeastern University, Boston, and right, and he was working with Cerner. Sorry, Turner. Turner is a computer science company. Turner Corporation in US. I mean, Turner is a big name all over the world, so he was working with them, and now he has again started studying in Boston University. So yeah, I mean, see, it depends on how you take yourself. It is not about having opportunities. If you are good at something, there are opportunities for you. So it's not like there are opportunities for in computer science, electrical science. It make sure you are good. So if you are good, there are opportunities for you. So it doesn't matter whether how the country is doing or how the uh, economy is doing. So if you are good, I guess there are opportunities. But yes, if answering your question, do you have any idea about the scope? Yes, there is scope. There are opportunities because I've seen my friends working in a good companies. So I think if that is happening, then it means there are opportunities. So I'm taking Yash's question. People say that for admission in good university, you need a letter of recommendation. So is it worth and from whom should we take letter of recommendation? Yes, LORs, I mean, letter of recommendation and statement of purposes uh, make a huge difference to your profile. So I you should be spending most of your I am glad someone asked this question. I mean, I was looking to answer this question. So yes, you should spend most of your time writing your LORs and SOPs. LORs and SOPs cannot be done in a week or two. It takes months. It took months for me when I was completely into all these things, and I'm sure this will take the same amount for you as well. And LORs and SOPs are the things you should spending your most of the time with. You should make people other people's read how does it sounds like. I mean, I'm talking about SOP here. You'll not be writing your LORs. I mean, your recommend the people who are recommending you will be writing your LORs. So I'm just talking about SOPs here. You should read it at least 20 times before you submit your LOR, since that is something which makes a huge difference. So I think talking about SOP, you should be spending a lot of time on that. But answering Yash's question about LOR, which is it worth taking and from whom? Yes, it is worth taking a good LOR. LOR has a good weightage on your profile, and you should be. I mean, you should be taking LOR from someone who you have dealt with directly, or that person has dealt with you directly. So I think you should be taking a good LOR and from person who has a good designation. I mean, By designation, I mean he has dealt with you directly, and he has a good, like, he is not just a temporary assistant professor of the college. He is someone who is uh, of a of a who has a good stature in your university. I mean, he is maybe a professor or a dean who has taught you directly, or someone who can be easily trusted by the university. Like if I'm shortlisting candidates to come into my university, if I see that this student has been recommended by the dean of the college, so of course I'll be going with this. So yeah, but depends. I mean, this you should be. I mean, answering this question, yes, you should be taking uh, from a person. You should be taking advice from a person who is of a good stature, who has a good rapport in the university. So coming back to Moinuddin's question, should I take degree in data science or computer science? So Moinuddin, it depends. What are your interests? If you want to do pursue your future in data science, you go for data science. If not, go for computer science. But data science is rising big time. So I have my friends working in a company as a data engineer. So data science is rising big time. So I think if you like data science, if you have inclination towards data science, you should go with it. So I guess I am pretty much done with all the questions. If anyone has, okay, I have a question from C2. What kind of jobs an AI graduate can get? Setu, I am not sure with the answer of this question since I am not in this field, so I don't want to give you any wrong answers. I think you should ask maybe you should look up internet first, but that's not the place you should trust. But yeah, to start with, you should look up internet first, and then maybe you should ask the person who has been in this field, or maybe I can do that for you. Maybe you can message me on the AdmitKard app itself, and I can get back to you with that answer. But as of now, I don't have the right answer for that, and I don't want to give you any wrong answers. So I'm sorry for that. Yeah. Swarganshu, how big an SOP should be? So Swarganshu, every university has a particular format of the for the LO for the SOP. They want so these number of words they want. I mean, they have their own criteria. So it depends on which university you are applying for. So you have to check the university's website what they want in SOP. Some universities want SOP which is of 1,000 words. Some universities just want a small SOP which is of 500 words. So it depends on which university are you applying for. So it has a mix of answers. So there's no one particular answer that how big can SOP be. But whatever you write in your SOP, you should put yourself in a piece of paper, because if I am the advisor of the university, I'll not be I'm not seeing you. I'm not talking to you. The only way I'm choosing you as an ideal candidate is looking at that piece of paper, which is called SOP. So you should spend a lot of amount of time on that SOP, whether it's of 500 words or it's of 1500 words. So a good amount of time, a decent amount of time has to be spent on writing that SOP. I hope that answers the question. Moving on to another question. So should I from Yash? Should I yes, you can take if he is the one who have taught you. I mean, vice chairman. I don't think vice chairman teaches students. So why would vice think this way? Why would vice chairman recommend you? If has vice chairman dealt with you directly? If yes, yes, he will for sure recommend you. If not, why would? For example, let's assume I'm the vice chairman now. My God, that's a huge post. So let's assume I'm the vice chairman of any college, and why would I recommend you if I have not taught you? I wouldn't do that. So you should ask for an LOR for a LOR from a person who has dealt with you, who can tell things about you, because that's what LOR is. The LOR is telling all those things about the candidate, and telling all the good things about the candidate of what his qualities and what he can do in the future. So if you have dealt, if vice chairman and you are working together in some, maybe in some project, or he has taught you, it's totally fine to take LOR from the vice chairman. If not, I would suggest, it's, if you're just taking for the designation sake, I don't think that's the good option. That's the best option. Probably you should go with the less higher post, and you should go with the person who has direct links with you. Moving on to the next question, say to again, what bank would you suggest for a quick and hassle-free loan? I mean, there are many banks out there which give you loan. SBI is there. There is HDFC Credila, which gives you loans. So just fill a loan application online, and your number will be circulated all over. Trust me, that's what happened to me. You'll be getting at least 2 3 calls a day asking about loans and all. But yeah, going with HDFC Credila is the best option, I guess. Oh, that's what I went for. So HDFC Credila is fine. So Prithviraj has a question: how professors in US take research assistantships? Get are there chances that we get in the offer letter? I mean, how professors in US take RAs? I mean, I am not completely clear with the question. Prithviraj, could you just reframe your question once again? How professors in US take RAs? I mean, RAs are something which is available here. So I'm not sure how they, what do you mean by how they take RAs? Can you please reframe your question? By the time I'll answer the last question, which I see is Moinuddin's. So he asks, what do you suggest by when should we complete our application? I have completed my GRE and will give TOEFL in September. So Moinuddin, it's good to start early for 2020. Okay, I see your question. I see your post. For 2020, for 2019 is starting as of now. So you are way ahead of time. And if you're already done with GRE, and I would say, uh, apart from your TOEFL, start preparing for your applications parallelly. Since TOEFL is not a big deal, TOEFL can be done in 20 25 days. I would say start preparing for your applications, and the application takes a good time, and you should be at least targeting to fill 7 to 8 applications at the minimum. Not, you should not go more beyond 10, but yeah, you should at least fill 6 to 7 applications, uh, at least. So I would say, yeah, you should start early, and by October or November you should be done with all the things. Since it is advisable to finish it, but admissions go till until next year May. But it's always advisable to finish your applications early. Maybe max by December you should be done with all the applications. But if you're targeting for an Ivy League college, their admissions gets closed by October or November. So if you're targeting for somewhere around something for Harvard or uh, MIT, or a good Ivy League college, their admission closes pretty soon. So yeah. So that's the last question I'll be taking from Rajesh, and which is, he. I think he has reframed the question on what all basis a professor would agree. Okay, okay. Now this sounds better. I'm sorry I didn't get the last question of yours. So on what basis? So it depends how much experience do you have in that field. So if I'm a professor who is working on a project, on a project about machine learning and artificial intelligence, and if I interview you, and if you have some knowledge about it and you're willing to learn, it seems like a job. If you have some knowledge, if you even if you have little knowledge and you're willing to learn, I would be happy to take you as my RA. And it's not something that you should know everything about what's going on in that field. If you are willing to learn and if you have some knowledge, and I think professors are very easygoing with that. He or she should be easily able to take you as an RA. So I guess I am done with all the questions, pretty much all the questions here, and I hope I answered them. And if you have anything coming in a day or two, or maybe whenever you want. You can reach out to me on the AdmitKard app itself in the chat section, and you can post your questions. Yeah, I usually reply pretty quickly, but if not, I usually reply within 24 hours. So you can always reach out to me, and you can also reach out to admit card visa option if you have any other questions regarding visa, or any other questions regarding your admissions. They are pretty much they're very helpful, and they guide you in a very systematic way. So I would recommend you reach out to admit card help section, and they also have a contact us link, email. You can always go onto the website and you can reach out to them. And also, I'll be taking another session very soon. So maybe you can come up with your questions again and let me know. I mean, you can all, I mean, I'm just giving you a heads up. I'll be coming up with a seminar, I mean, a similar kind of seminar very soon. So if you have any questions, you can prepare them and you can get back to me. And before that, if you have any questions, you get answers, you need answers about, you can always reach out to the Admit Card app and you can post your question there and we can chat there in the chat section. I guess I'm pretty much done here. So I guess I'll answer one more question by Yatin. He asks, can you please answer this? Okay, yeah, sure. In SOP for a professional non-thesis masters, should I be should a person be mentoring about a particular university's research? Yeah, then I'm uh, just trying to figure out what your question is. Okay, if you're talking about in your SOP, yes, you should be mentioning everything you have done in your SOP. Whether it, I mean, if you talk about professional non-thesis masters, I'm not sure what exactly does it mean. Can you quickly reply on that again? I mean, what does professional non-thesis masters mean? I mean, if I can answer that generally. If it is something related to your studies, I think you should mention that in your resume. And even if it is not related directly to your studies, you should mention it in a line or so, since it always boosts your profile. So yeah, I guess I think that has something. Yes, Yatan, you should always mention whatever you have done in your past experience. You should mention it in your SOP, and if it is something irrelevant, you should. I mean, I would not say that you should add something irrelevant stuff. If it is something not directly linked to your study, you should add it in a line. And if it is something which you think can make a huge impact, you should probably explain it in 3 or 4 lines. So I guess I'm done with all the questions here. If you have any questions, just reach out to me on the app itself, and we'll take things from there. Yeah, thank you so much, and have a great evening, folks. See you again. Bye bye.